Okay, so good evening from Kennedy Town here in Hong Kong. Tonight, by request of my good buddy Diego, who's just across the border in Shenzhen, I'm going to make salsa. A couple of different versions. One light and fresh Pico de Gallo style, and one like traditional restaurant style recipe. But it's one of the most simple things in the world to make. Enjoy Phoebe's in the bath, having a lot of fun. But a couple of things before I start, and this is directed at Hong Kong. Now, this place is loaded with Mexican restaurants. They're everywhere. Why can't I find these tortilla chips in the supermarket? Anywhere. Park and Shop, Welcome, Fusion, you name it. I've been to a lot of them. Didn't even see them in City Super, which is baffling to me. I'll be doing a video on City Super sometime coming up. But every shop I've been to, they have every type of potato chip in the world from everywhere. Why is it so hard to find tortilla chips? I had to order those from mainland China. Also, this is in every store. These are great. I love these things. These are not tortilla chips. These are Doritos. They're different. Come on, Hong Kong. Get with the program. I want tortilla chips. Because salsa is the world's best condiment snack thing. So, first things first. We'll start with a Pico de Gallo, which is going to be really, really simple. Involve a little bit of knife skills. I can try to show off how terrible mine are. Let me pan down here to cilantro, lots of it. A purple onion. I like purple onions, especially in something fresh and light like this. A tomato, a lime. One of these little bird's eye chilies, which believe me, these things are hot. They can range anywhere from 15 up to 100,000 Scoville units. And then a couple other peppers. Traditional recipes call for a jalapeno, but whatever. You can literally put any type of pepper in this. So, hold on. My wife is making noise. Okay, so I'm going to try to focus on the cutting board while we're at this. I have very limited space to work with, but the first thing you need is your knife. And you want to make sure your knife is sharp, and you go do that. So, stand by. Okay, so for my knife, most knives I'll just use one of those sharpener things, but for this, it's a Henkel's Miyabi. I use a special branded sharpener for it. Just give it a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's pretty good. It's a very, very, very sharp knife. If I get it really, really sharp, it's one of those I can just one hand cut a tomato into paper thin slices, and we'll do that in another video. This is more about just making this salsa right now. So, first thing I'm going to do is dice my tomato into really, really small chunks. Very small pieces. I think brunoise cut is what I'm trying to do, little cubes. Same thing for my onion and peppers and things. So, let me get through that process. Just to start though, show you how I do this is, yeah, that's sharp. I'll make a dozen or so cuts almost all the way through the tomato. Ooh, see, be careful. It's not that sharp because it still slips. Okay. Then the other way, crisscross pattern. Phoebe wants a paper boat for the bathtub, apparently. Okay. And keep your fingers safe and away from this. And then now I've got this bloomin' onion looking thing. If you don't know what that is, look it up. Outback Steakhouse. One of those things of youth, those awful, terribly unhealthy appetizer, fast food restaurant things. Bloomin' onion. Awful, but good. Anyway, and you just cut like this, like that. And I could make it smaller, but I'm just being quick and easy. Another thing to notice here, you want your pico de gallo to be a little drier. You can actually get rid of a lot of this water. Tomatoes are mostly water. I don't want to waste any part of this, so I'm just going to cut as close to center as I can. Phoebe is very happy. For an hour this morning, she was just telling knock-knock jokes to herself. I'm like, we don't know where a 2-year-old learned to do knock-knock jokes, and they're not especially funny, but to her, they're the funniest thing in the world. So just give it a little chop. And what I'm actually going to do with this, you want to save the water. I don't want the water in this though, so I'm just going to use one of these things. I need a little bowl. I'm just going to sweep this in here. I'll use the water in my salsa. I want this to be, just press this out just a little bit. You don't want it totally dry, but you don't want it to be dominated by tomato juice. Tomato water, not tomato juice. I can make a video on how to make proper tomato juice too. Anyway, pressing that down together. Yes, my hands are clean. And I'm going to put that in my mixing bowl, which I should have gotten out already. Well, just a regular bowl. This is a small batch, so just regular bowl. And dump that in there. Okay, now you can see here just how much water is in a single tomato. That was a small one too. So this is going to make a big difference in your flavor profile because the main liquid element we want later is to be lime juice. So next, the onion. I apparently have been cutting onions the wrong way for 30 years. And I have since been working at my proper onion cutting technique. I like to do it like this. You just take the onion, here's the root, but you cut the onion in half, like so. Leave the root over there. You can take the skin off anyway. Take that little tip off, and I've already peeled this. So I'm going to make one. Cut kind of down at an angle like that, and then second cut almost all the way through. Then we're going to start like so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And voila. One reason for doing this, you don't make the onion too angry. And what I say by that is the tears won't come if you're not dicing up the root too hard. So there, I've got this little nub left. That goes in my compost bucket. And now, that easy, I've got these little chunks of onion, which I'm going to cut up just a little bit. Just like so. Still made her a little bit mad. Yeah, I should have taken the root out. Anyway, not too bad. Nowhere near as bad if you were not cutting it properly. And I can't emphasize how important it is to have a sharp knife enough. That's a really, really important thing. So for this, I'm just going to use half of the onion. It's a purple onion. These are strong, as my eyes are watering right now. So I'm going to take the cutting board and clean it. Stand by. Okay, next on the agenda, your peppers and the lime. That goes last. First, you're going to cut the top off the pepper. Then, with these types of chilies in random markets, you never know how spicy they're going to be. You want to control your spice level. The easiest way is just make a slit down the middle of the pepper, not all the way through, just halfway through. Open it up, and your capsaicin comes from, the spice level comes from these seeds. So you want to take a very small spoon, which I'm having trouble locating at the moment. Here we go. Small spoon, and you're just gonna get all that out. Scrape the inside of the pepper pretty good until it's clean. If you want to test your pepper, just take a seed out and see how spicy it is. In this instance, it's got some kick to it, but not well, okay, a little bit, little something. Anyway, that middle stuff goes into my compost bin. Compost bag. Cool thing about my employer, they have refrigerators everywhere. You can bring in your compost. They have a thing on campus I hope I can do a video of. Called a rocket. It turns all the food waste from the school into usable good soil. Anyway, okay, next step in the process. I'm going to kind of flatten my pepper out. I'm going to do the same thing like the onion. I'm going to make some slits almost all the way through, but not. Just to hold things together. And yes, in case you're wondering, I am left-handed. Only we lefties are in our right mind. And then I'm going to dice that up. Very fine, small pieces. Again, can't emphasize enough the importance of a sharp knife again. And I highly, highly, highly recommend Henkel's, the Miyabi line. Very licensed Japanese, German, I don't know. They collaborate and make this line of knives. And they're outstanding. It's different from anything I've ever used, and it did completely change my life considering how much time I spend in the kitchen. Yes, that's still tingling my tongue a bit, so these are a little bit of a kick to it. Now, I do want to make clear, any kind of salsa, you can put basically anything you want into salsa. It doesn't matter. Sometimes I'll just go to any leftover vegetables I've got in the fridge, things that might be starting to turn, and I will put those into like a restaurant style salsa, which I'm going to show you as soon as I'm done with this one. But here we are. We have the onion, your tomato. Use the back of your knife. Do not scrape the blade of your knife on your cutting board. That will dull it. Use the back. And scrape all this peppery goodness into the bowl. Now I'm going to speed things up a bit. I'm going to go ahead and do the red pepper. I'm going to dice up my cilantro, and I'm going to put this little bird's eye chili in it. This thing is hot, and I like spicy things, especially like the green ones. The red ones are everywhere, but the green ones are kind of hard to find. And I'm very happy to have these. Okay, so I'll be back. Oh, by the way, once I'm doing this, while I'm doing this, I'll talk. Let me just tell you how important it is when you're handling chili peppers. Either use gloves, which I should do, or be sure to thoroughly, and I mean thoroughly, wash your hands, like 2, 3, 4 times. Hot water, lots of soap, hand sanitizer, whatever. Make sure you get the oil from the capsaicin off of your hands, because when you rub your eyes, or one time I was making hot sauce, and excuse me for this, but I went to pee before I didn't wash my hands for hours. There was some severe discomfort from the oil. There's not much you can do. You can try to wash it off, but it's a painful thing. Definitely don't rub your eyes. I've done that a few times. I still do that occasionally, just out of pure habit. But hey, during COVID, you've had to train ourselves not to touch the face so much. The average person touches their face, what? I don't know, several thousand times a day. At least they say. That's what they say, whoever they is. I have to look that one up. Fact check. Okay, anyway, stand by. Now, another thing to note, when you're doing cilantro, use the whole thing. Don't just use the leaves. There's more flavor in the stems than you get from the leaves. You just want to get a very fine dice on those as well. Try to keep your fingers away from the blade. A sharp knife is less dangerous to work with than a dull knife. If you get cut by a sharp knife, it's going to bleed for a while. I've come close with this knife. Never actually cut myself with it. I've had some very close calls. Just get that as absolutely teeny tiny fine as you possibly can. Get a lot of water here too, but not that much. Scrape that off of the cutting bowl. Into the bowl. Okay. There you have it. Two most important steps in the process here are coming up. Okay, so the next and most important part, as I just said, in this whole process is you need to bring these flavors alive. You need to make them pop out of it. Which these are fine, fresh flavors in of themselves, but 2 key ingredients here. One, take your lime squeezer. If you don't have one of these, get one. I have 2. Squeeze that in there like this. And yeah, I'm using 1 whole lime. That's the way I like it. And then you have to activate that citrus flavor to get everything. You have to activate flavors, and you do that with salt. And I use just a little sea salt grinder here. You don't want it too salty, just enough. And then give it a stir. And there you have it. Very simple, easy to do pico de gallo. I absolutely pulverized that little bird's eye pepper in here too. There might be a couple of chunks that give a big surprise, but there you have it, folks. That's how easy that is. And then we'll take a chip. Got to give you the obligatory taste test. Get a big heaping chunk on there, if you can see that. And here goes. Spicy. Just enough. On a scale from 1 to 10, it's like a 3 for me. But just right, not too moist. That's exactly what you want pico de gallo to be. Use it as a garnish for, use it for chips and salsa. Use it as a garnish for any seafood dish. Really anything. You can practically put this on ice cream if you're adventurous enough. I'll try one just to see. Let's try Dorito with it too. Let's see how that is. Yeah, but all you taste is Dorito. This. Hong Kong, please. Somebody tell me what's going on. Comment below. Can you find tortilla chips in a store so I don't have to order them from Taobao in mainland China? I have to ask my wife to do it. Remind multiple times. No. I want to just walk down to my local shop and buy that. Or something similar to that. Anyway, this video has gone on for quite some time, so I'm going to make this a 2-part series. One is the fresh, light pico de gallo. You want to eat this within a day or two. Otherwise it loses its freshness and starts to, just like any vegetable in the fridge, it's a fresh thing. The restaurant style salsa, however, we're going to put in a jar here. And we can keep that for, we can seal the jar and keep it for months if we want to. Or I don't have any salsa left at the moment, so I'm just going to make it and then put it in the fridge and then eat. So there you have it, Diego. That's about as easy as it gets, as simple as it gets. Now I'm going to do the restaurant salsa next, which is oh so easy. So until then, see ya.